I couldn't get an apartment, couldn't get a job, couldn't understand why. Then I found out my sister had been living as ME for 3 years. What I did next sent her to federal prison. This is that story. My name is Rebecca. I'm 29 years old. I have had a younger sister named Michelle. She's 26. Growing up, we were close, really close. Michelle was the creative one. She wanted to be an artist, went to art school for 2 years, then dropped out. She was my best friend. I felt bad for her. Our parents were disappointed, paid for her portfolio, helped her apply to jobs, let her borrow money when she needed it. Michelle was the creative one. She wanted to be an artist, went to art school for 2 years, then dropped out. I was the responsible one. Good grades, went to college. Michelle was the creative one. She wanted to be an artist, went to art school for 2 years, then dropped out. I'd been saving for years, had $40,000 in down payment ready, good job, stable income. 2 years ago, I decided it was time to move out of my apartment and buy a house. There was also a car loan, $28,000, for a 2024 BMW. So I called the bank. We're sorry, Ms. Wilson, but your credit score is 420. Got rejected. I was confused, really confused. My credit score had been 820 just 6 months earlier when I checked it. What I saw made me physically sick. There were 17 credit card accounts in my name. I was meticulous about my finances. I paid everything on time, never missed a payment, barely used my credit cards. There had to be an error, so I pulled my credit report. What I saw made me physically sick. And can you tell me the last purchase made on this card? Yes, yesterday at 3:47 p.m., 247 at Nordstrom. Yesterday. She was charged with identity theft, wire fraud, making false statements to obtain credit, numerous counts of fraud, total 23 counts. Each one carried potential prison time. Michelle had moved into an apartment 6 months ago. She told me she finally got a good job and could afford her own place. Then I noticed something. One of the credit card statements had an address I recognized, familiar somehow. Then I noticed something. One of the credit card statements had an address I recognized, familiar somehow. I sat at my kitchen table staring at this report for 2 hours. Who the fuck did this? I kept staring at it, and then it hit me. That was near where Michelle lived. No, it couldn't be, could it? I didn't want to believe it. My sister? The girl I grew up with? But I had to know. I called the credit card company, one of the ones I didn't recognize. 3 years. And can you tell me what address is on file? She read it to me. Building 4, Unit 237. My hands started shaking. I hung up and called another credit card company. Same address and another, same address. I checked the car loan, registered to that address, to my name. My sister was living in an apartment leased in my name, driving a car financed in my name, shopping on credit cards in my name. She wasn't just stealing from me, she was me. I didn't know what to do. Call the police? Confront her? Tell our parents? Michelle opened the door. She was wearing a bathrobe, expensive looking, probably bought with one of my credit cards. When she saw me, her face went white. Not surprised white, not confused white, caught white. She knew I knew. Becca, I can explain. All bought with my money, my credit, my identity. How long? I asked. What? How long have you been stealing my identity? She closed the door, leaned against it, and then she said something that made my blood boil. I didn't have a choice. I laughed. Actually laughed. You didn't have a choice? You didn't have a choice but to open 17 credit cards in my name, to take out loans, to lease an apartment, to buy a fucking BMW? You don't understand. I was drowning. I couldn't get credit because my score was shit from art school. I couldn't get a decent apartment. So you destroyed my life instead? I was going to pay you back. I just needed time to... 3 years, Michelle, 3 years. How much were you planning to steal before you paid me back? I looked around the apartment, at the life she'd built using my identity. You know what the worst part is? I said quietly. I would have helped you. If you'd asked. If you'd been honest, I would have loaned you money, co-signed something, helped you. I know. But instead, you stole from me. You ruined my credit. You destroyed my chance to buy a house. You made it so I can't even rent a better apartment or get approved for a car loan. You sabotaged my entire future. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. I pulled out my phone. What are you doing? Calling the police. Her eyes went wide. Becca, please, I'm your sister. We can work this out. You're going to prison, Michelle. Becca, please. I walked out of the apartment, got in my car, and called 911. I need to report identity theft. My parents called me screaming. How could you do this to your sister? How could I? How could she do this to me? She made a mistake. You're going to ruin her life. She ruined my life first. We'll pay you back. Drop the charges. Mom, I can't drop the charges. These are federal crimes. The government is prosecuting, not me. And even if I could, why would I? Because she's your sister. She stopped being my sister when she stole my identity. They hung up on me. Haven't spoken to them since. I was exhausted, depressed, angry. Michelle's lawyer tried to plea bargain. Your client stole $95,000. Your client committed identity theft for 3 years. We're not pleading this down. The prosecutor was a woman named Sarah Chen. She was amazing. This is one of the most egregious cases I've seen, she told me. Family identity theft is particularly cruel. The prosecutor destroyed that argument. She made calculated, deliberate choices over 3 years. She had hundreds of opportunities to stop. She didn't. This wasn't a mistake. Her lawyer asked me, Ms. Wilson, did you ever suspect your sister? No. Why not? Because I trusted her. She was my sister. I never imagined she'd betray me like this. Isn't it true you could have resolved this within the family? I looked directly at Michelle. She stole nearly $100,000 from me. She ruined my future. No, this couldn't be resolved within the family. 6 years, my sister is going to prison for 6 years, and I don't feel guilty about it, not even a little bit. During this time, I also had to deal with my family. My parents sided with Michelle entirely. They mortgaged their house to pay for her lawyer, didn't offer me a single dollar to help with my legal fees. They wrote me letters saying I was heartless. I wrote back once, I didn't put her in prison, her crimes put her in prison, I chose to hold her accountable. They didn't respond. My mom blocked me. My dad stopped calling. 6 months ago, I got a letter from Michelle, 8 pages long, full of apologies. I read it once, and then I threw it away. Because I don't care if she's sorry now. She had 3 years to be sorry. She's only sorry because she got caught. My parents want me to support early release. I wrote back, no, just that. One word. They said I was vindictive. Maybe I am. But Michelle took 3 years of my life. She can serve 6 years for it. Fair is fair. People ask me all the time if I regret pressing charges. The answer is no, no, and no. Here's what I've learned. Lesson 1. Trust but verify. Now I check my credit every month. Trust is good. Protection is better. Lesson 2. Family doesn't mean unconditional tolerance. Just because someone is related doesn't mean you have to accept abuse. Stealing $95,000 from me is abuse. I don't have to forgive it just because we share DNA. Lesson 3. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. My parents wanted me to sacrifice my justice for her comfort. That's not love, that's enabling, and I wasn't going to destroy myself to save her from herself. Some bridges you burn on purpose, some bridges burn themselves. Either way, they're gone, and I'm okay with that. I have a life that's mine again. I don't need people who think criminals should be protected over victims, even if they're family. To anyone going through this, press charges. Don't let guilt stop you. What they did was a crime. If your family doesn't support you, that tells you where you stand, and maybe you're better off without them. I am. Someone asked, do you think you'll ever reconcile? I said, she stole my identity. I don't even know who she is anymore. And I meant it. The sister I knew wouldn't have done this. The person who did this is a stranger. My life is mine again. My credit is mine again. My future is mine again, and no one will ever take that from me again. So no, I don't regret it. I regret trusting someone who didn't deserve it, but I don't regret seeking justice. Justice isn't revenge. Justice is making sure the person who hurt you can't hurt anyone else. And Michelle can't hurt me anymore. She can only sit in a cell and think about what she did for 6 years. And honestly, that feels fair. Christmas that year was lonely. But honestly, I didn't want to be around people who thought stealing my identity was forgivable just because we're related. Blood doesn't excuse crime. Family doesn't excuse fraud. Around month 10, things started turning around. My credit score began climbing. 380, 450, 520, 600. By month 14, I was at 720. Not my original 820, but good enough. Michelle had moved into an apartment 6 months ago. She told me she finally got a good job and could afford her own place. She was charged with identity theft, wire fraud, making false statements to obtain credit, numerous counts of fraud, total 23 counts. Each one carried potential prison time. Then I noticed something. One of the credit card statements had an address I recognized, familiar somehow. I couldn't get an apartment, couldn't get a job, couldn't understand why. I pushed past her into the apartment. It was nice, really nice, way nicer than what a struggling artist could afford. Designer furniture, huge TV, expensive art. I pushed past her into the apartment. It was nice, really nice, way nicer than what a struggling artist could afford. Designer furniture, huge TV, expensive art.